Ladies and gentlemen, the new month of the story mode fragment farming has arrived and the changes suck. The characters are trash, so I'm going to help you make the most out of your tier 3s and transcendences for the month of August as we roll out of July so that you can get the most fragments possible so that you can go ahead and combine them and get juicy rewards like this. Boom. Yes. Nice. Okay, so for starters, let's go ahead and take a look at the characters that are featured this month. You can find all of this information on the mega guides that are linked below in the description of every single video, but we have the August updates here. So, like I said, it's pretty bad. We'll go through it briefly, but also highlighting all of the bad stuff. So, Angela is featured twice. So, yeah, if her uniform wasn't already attractive enough for you as a support character, and if you didn't even have her transcended, now might be a very good time to do those things so you could get two birds with one stone. Everybody else here is featured only once until we get to Blue Marvel, which kind of sucks. He's kind of a forgotten PvP-esque character with some very valuable stages on 2-3 and 7-1, so it's hard to ignore this month. Captain Marvel, maybe a sign of the Marvels movie hinting at a tier 4 in the future, is featured not once, not twice, but thrice on 2-1, 6-1, and 10-2. Now, the 9-1, 9-2, 10-1, and 10-2, those are the shield quest line that drops the ISO, and I know that's the least popular set of stages, and we'll talk about why you may want to ignore those stages this month, especially if you're not keen on farming them all the time. But yeah, keep that in mind. 2-1 and 6-1 still super valuable for Captain Marvel. It's just that 10-2 not so much. Colossus featured twice and on two of the worst stages possible. We'll get into that a little bit later. Crescent featured twice on back-to-back stages, 2-3 and 3-1. Not sure why it flopped, it switched their location there. But yeah, unfortunately, Crescent, a bit of a headache this month. Ebony featured twice, Elektra featured twice, Gamora featured twice, Ghost Panther featured not once, not twice, but thrice. That's brutal. Amazing support, but no uniform means he's not a very strong character himself, but still very valuable. But keep in mind, if you take a look here, 10-1 and 12-2. So one of those stages is the shield again, the all shield or whatever it's called, true shield. Maybe not your cup of tea. Gwenpool featured twice. Thankfully, it's not on any of the elemental missions, so you don't have to worry about owning her newest uniform or her seasonal uniform that has cold damage, that has elemental damage. Caecilius featured, not once, not twice, but thrice. This one is a punch right in the dick. This one sucks. Again, featured on two very valuable stages, 2-2, 7-3. Only 10-2 can really be ignored, but otherwise you can't ignore Caecilius. It's probably a good time to get that pain out of the way and transcend him. A bunch more featured once, including native tier 2s. Rhino featured twice, which sucks. Sandman featured twice, which sucks. Scorpion featured twice, which sucks. She-Hulk featured twice, actually pretty good. Miles featured twice, which is great. Spot featured twice, which is cute. Storm featured twice. You may want to pick up her seasonal uniform in a couple of weeks. Thanos featured twice. Can suck if your name is Verdict and you're begging for that seasonal uniform to come back. Thing featured twice. Vulture featured twice, which sucks. It's like the month of the Spider-Verse villains being featured so many times. And then Wave featured twice. So yeah, that is the breakdown of characters that you can see highlighted frequently on this month's story mode. Now let's get into the quote-unquote headache characters, because there are quite a few this time around. If we fast forward to 7-3, you can see Caecilius in the first spot here. This is a big no-no. You want to have him either on the left or the right, or you want to find some way to bump it over so that Iron Hammer is taking the lead. You honestly don't want Vulture or Caecilius. Iron Hammer is the only one with a heal, so that is super duper important. However, that's the only stage that is screwed up by this month's bad characters in the Dimensional Clash. So if you're focusing on the Dimensional Clash, you actually don't really have much to worry about, which is very good. A lot of headache comes in the True Shield, which is why I've highlighted it, and I know that some people don't like it very much because, as I said, the rewards not quite as spicy as, you know, potentially CTPs, premium cards, or Odin's Blessings. I get it. Some people skip the True Shield altogether, so that's fair, but if you don't, you do have to worry about Rhino on 9-2 because I don't think he can do this stage. He doesn't have any healing whatsoever. And then also Caecilius on 10-2. So now Rhino and Caecilius are tag teaming me, and I don't like how that sounds. And then on the All War, this one again becomes kind of problematic. Not on 11-1, but on 11-2, where we have Nebula. If you have a really stacked Nebula, she may be able to clear this stage. I don't know what your build is on her, but it is something to consider because she also does not have a heal. And then on 12-2, you have the problem of Colossus. Now, the problem here with Colossus is quite a colossal problem because his newest uniform, which a lot of you have, changes his damage to no longer be elemental, which means you'd have to go back and switch to the Phoenix Force uniform. Now, you're like, okay, that's fine. I'll switch to the Phoenix 5 uniform. I'll use him on 12-2. We're groovy, baby. We're groovy. We have the Ghost Panther support, so we have tons of fire damage, whatever. He's going to fly through that. Now, that's true. That itself is very true. But then you have the problem of having him again, not on 13-1 or 13-2, but 13-3. He's back. And of course, the Phoenix 5 uniform is not as good as his newest uniform. So what you have to do is a little bit of testing on your own to see if he can clear both 12-2 and 13-3 with this uniform. If he can, then you're sitting pretty, and it's a very easy month to construct a team and to construct an autoplay setup. However, if he can't, which I'm guessing a lot of you won't be able to, and you'll need to upgrade to the Hellfire Gala, then that is where problems arise, because with the Hellfire Gala, he doesn't do any elemental damage. So he'll be able to clear 13-3 just fine if you don't use Miles, but then he'll struggle, and he'll do 1 damage on 12-2, and it'll take forever, or he'll die. So here is how it plays out. There's actually 2 options that you have available to you. Option 1 is you field a team like this. You put Caecilius on the bench. You put Rhino on the bench. So now you don't have to worry about Caecilius. You don't have to worry about Rhino. You put Hyperion in the leadership spot so that Nebula doesn't do 11-2. Okay, follow me here. And then you're good. Except you have to go and switch Colossus's uniform every day. This is probably the worst option. Now, this is the only option for some players, but I understand that some players will want to blow their brains out having to swap Colossus's uniform every single day. That's just, that's not. The other option, if you don't want to swap it every day, is you have to build him up, make him super tanky, so that even with the old uniform, he can clear 13-3. However, I can understand that some people don't want this idea, don't want this strategy, so we're going to come up with another strategy. If you skip the True Shield, if you're not interested in farming the True Shield, because you're not interested in getting mostly ISO, which, again, I understand if players are not really into that, it's fair, then you can field a team like this. And in this team here, because we don't have to worry about the True Shield, we no longer have to worry about Rhino. Not having to worry about Rhino means we free up the spot that he was taking up, that we can now use Nebula. So now instead of having Hyperion lead, we can move Nebula over, and then that frees us up. That frees up the leadership to use Mysterio. Now you're probably like, why am I using Mysterio lead? You're using Mysterio lead so that he does the damage on 12-2. You can swap Mysterio here for Ghost Panther if your Ghost Panther can clear it. I chose Mysterio because he does a little bit more damage than Ghost Panther and because he has a heal. And then when you do this and you have Mysterio up there doing 12-2 for you, then you don't have to worry about switching Colossus's uniform. And then Colossus can always use the Hellfire Gala uniform. So that's essentially what you can do. However, there is technically a third option. So if you don't like this option and you don't like the other option, what you can do is the following. You can put Miles Morales in the lead to make sure that he will do 13-3 for you. So then Colossus is never chosen as the lead for that stage. Okay. And then what that means is you can go over here and you can actually permanently, for the month, you can swap Colossus back to the to the Phoenix 5 uniform. You can swap that over for the month. And then he will be clearing 12-2, but he'll be clearing it with the Phoenix 5 uniform, and he'll do it really fast if you have Ghost Panther because he has all that synergistic damage. And then you still need to use Caecilius. No matter what, he has to be there. Rhino can be swapped out. So if you're not doing True Shield, then you can swap Rhino out for Nebula. If you are doing the True Shield and you want to do the True Shield, then you would put Rhino there, and you'd have to build up your Nebula. So that is basically the other option available to you that requires a little bit of building on kind of a subpar character in Nebula. But honestly, I think Nebula has a better chance of clearing this, and it's probably less of a headache than swapping over Colossus's uniform or trying to build up Rhino or some shit like that. So I gave you 3 different autoplay teams. I think this works for basically all rosters unless you're missing more than half of the characters I mentioned here in this team up situation. Then you're going to have to get creative, but hopefully my tips and the sort of advice that I give you monthly on this allows you to learn the systems and sort of see the tricks ahead of time so that you can come up with teams on your own. And actually, if you have a better team, hit me up down below in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. So yeah, with that being said, that's the story mode for this month. Happy farming. Good luck opening your fragment boxes. Hopefully you all get CTPs and P cards, and I will catch you in the next video. Take care.